it's a provider of employment,
Oh.
which is a key issue.
Yes.
But back to your point about you don't have railways that take goods
to the airport, which is very, very important.
Or points of departure. That's one of the issues that I think I recommend that the Philippines government takes on board very seriously, because you are probably, in my experience, you are the only major country in Asia and indeed many parts of the world that does not have a direct link to the airport by rail. In fact, you don't have a direct link by road either. No, you don't. And it's key, it's essential, especially it's useful for businessmen, it's useful for tourists, and as our friend said here, it's useful for translating or transmitting goods to a point of departure for air cargo, or indeed shipping ports. So that's a key issue. That's the second key issue I would raise. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, maybe we can start by asking also, based on your perception, based on what we have right now, our current railway system, how will you evaluate what we have right now?
Well, most railway systems, particularly urban metro systems, which is about all you have, are actually, their design life is about 30 years. And what that means is that during those 30 years, it is expected by analysis and calculation that every part of that train and its track support and its stations and its communication will be replaced.
Including the train itself, of course.
Oh yes, yes. And the rolling stock, the train itself is a complex issue. There's a lot of technology on board, especially a modern train. But that's about the design life. Once you go past that, you should not really be surprised
if there are problems.
Regular failures.
Maano yun, mabigat yun ha. Ang binabanggit po mga kababayan ni Mr. Geoff Green is, ang MRT system pala, sa loob ng 30 taon, lahat ng component parts ng train at saka ng railway system dapat napalitan na in 30 years.
At teka, sandali, ilan taon na ba yung MRT natin?
Magte-30 na rin yan.
Magte-30.
Yung LRT yan, mahigit na yun kasi college pa tayo.
Panahon pa ni Marcos yun.
Panahon pa ni Marcos yun. Yung MRT, magte-30 years na rin yan.
Really?
So, as far as I can recall, because I did a brief amount of work on Line 2, which was 2002, it's the only of your metro urban lines that is a lot less than 30 years old. Your PNR systems go back a long way.
Yes, yes, correct.
But they are
so maintenance work will not
defunct, aren't they?
Maintenance work will not help the continuation of the operations of the train, our train system. We should have them replaced with new ones.
No, that's not necessarily what I'm saying about having them replaced. It's a kind of self-replacement if you do enough maintenance when things fail. You see, the thing about maintenance is that there are really two primary kinds. One is preventive maintenance, from the analyses of reliability, what is likely to wear out within the next 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, and you have a program whereby you make sure that you do replace it. And things like wheels, you don't wait for wheels
for 30 years.
And
you don't wait for it to overshoot or to just stop in the middle of
and the other
the track.
Of key maintenance is that you don't allow things to become disastrous before you do it.
And it's already created disaster.
So you've got preventive maintenance and restorative maintenance. And I'm not personally involved in the maintenance of your systems, but if they're not rigorously applied, then within that 30-year period, things are going to start to give you problems.
But were you able to ride our MRT or
many
MIT?
times, yes, I have.
And what do you see? What particular things do you see that should be replaced immediately?
Well, your MRT lines 1 and 2, not so line. 1 and 3, not so line 2, which is more like an urban metro of the modern era. The other two lines are quite old, and most of my railway partners, I'm sure, would agree with me, is that they're almost a tram. It's a light rail. It's not a true metro. It's a light rail.
So you must not carry a lot of load.
Well, that's correct, and it's narrower than a standard metro train. It's slower. So it's not strictly a metro train in the modern sense. So in that sense, I would agree with you. You kind of throw it away. Sorry to be rude.
Geoff, if I ask you to ride a train today, would you?
Oh, I've done it fairly recently, the last few months, to see what was going on. Whereas Line 2 is a completely different beast altogether. And I'm hoping that I've been reading. I always keep up to date with what's going on, especially railways in the Philippines. I'm hoping that your future plans, such as there seems to be a resurrection of kind of North Rail, which was cancelled in 2011, sadly.
There was a proposal a few weeks back that we should stop operating the MRT for a time so that repairs can come in. Is that the best?
No.
Well,
it's not for the public, but is that really the way to go, or is there another way of
if
repairing
there are serious operational issues, then yes, but you do have the beginnings of a team already here, because I know 2 of them personally who are here for lines 1 and 3 upgrade. Now, I don't know what that means in terms of the contracts. I'm not involved. No one's ever asked me to work on it. They wouldn't, because my work wouldn't come for 2 or 3 years after. You're doing civils and track bed upgrade. That's what's going on as of last week. So there are works in progress, but they will be civils and track work mostly, I suspect, for quite a long time.